It's the Morning Gardener Show. It's the Morning Gardener Show. It's the Morning Gardener Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is yours truly, the Morning Gardener. And right now, we're in my yard. We're looking at one of my cherry trees. I believe it's a Bing. Very young tree. It's got a couple cherries on it. Here's one here that's not even ripe. I got tired of paying outrageous prices at the grocery stores. I got tired of eating foods that were full of all kind of whatever man-made chemicals they can put into it to help it to sell on the market. So I started about 3 years ago doing my own fruit trees. That's when I started the fruit trees and the berries. Well, I actually started the berries about 5 years ago. Now this little vine here, that's a grapevine. Here's another I just put in today, another grapevine. They're the same kind. And this one here is a grapevine I put in about 4 years ago. It's been cut back and then it started over. I'm trying out a new system, which is a single stake that I'm putting in the ground, and I'm trying to grow grapevines on that. It takes up less space. And my yard stays open. I don't have to put wires all through the yard. And here's another tortellini, cherry tree. And I'm just having a lot of fun, folks. I have taken back some of the control from the grocery stores. They don't control me. And there's a whole lot of vegetables in the yard as well. We'll get to those, I believe, today or tomorrow. There's a little cluster of grapes. They're very young. This was kind of expensive, these little green poles I put them on, but it was well worth it in the long run. That is a Thompson grapevine. It's one of the oldest ones I have. I have a total of about about 6 of them. This right here is a pear tree. Another pear tree here. It's a Dutchess, and I have a Bartolini pear. I got carried away because I said I'm tired of having people tell me $2, $6, $8 for these fruit from the grocery stores. Here's my little snake buddy here that keeps the birds away. And this right here I just put in today. That's a cutting off of one of my raspberries. Over here is let me tell you a little bit about this right here. These are the wood chips that I put down throughout the entire yard. And this is a blackberry plant that was very small last year because of all the weeds that were taking away the energy from it. Now, since I put it down with the wood chips, everything's growing great. This right here is Alberta peach, very young. I just put it in this year. Bought it in the mail. It looked real bad when I got it, but it's doing okay. This little vine in the center, that is a Isaiah kiwi. I'm having a time with it right here in Zone 7. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but I'm going to find out. This right here is another cherry tree. Here's another right next to it. I did high density planting, which is about 21 inches apart. And and this right here is my blackberry plant. It's this got lots of thorns on it. It's called a peanut butter or butter blackberry, something like that. And it's the only one I have. I'm trying to get some cuttings from it so that I can get some others started. This is a tortellini here. I just got that this year. Now here's what I did here. This is kind of a mess, but I'm gonna get it all sorted out. This is a blueberry. I put about 8 plants in because I'm gonna tell you something. There's nothing healthier than eating blueberries, and you might as well get the blueberries instead of buying a whole bunch of pills to keep your health the way you want it. So these will have no chemicals in them. I don't use any sprays or anything on them. And over here is another one of my. It's down here. You can't hardly see it, but then we got the potatoes here, white potatoes. I forgot what variety they are, and they growing out of compost. I got about 1,000 pounds of compost this year. It didn't cost me anything. And then I put in about 20,000 pounds of wood chips. And it's an immense job, but I got it done by myself. And I am happy because look at it. I got corn growing in here somewhere. One thing about it, I'm not real organized as far as putting things and label them and all of that. This is lettuce, and this is another type of loose lettuce. And then I got some these right here. They are romaine lettuce. They're very young. And then we got some tomato plants there, and I think I got another one over here somewhere. Yeah, there it is right there, mixed in with some of the weeds. Now, I use my weeds to feed my garden. Some of you might have seen that in one of my videos, but I use my weeds. I rip them out of the ground and I put them down at the base with the roots faced up. I put them down at the base of a plant. When it decays, it feeds the plant. This right here is one of my larger apple trees. It's about 2.5 years old. All my older trees are about 2.5 years old. They haven't produced, my apple trees haven't produced anything as of yet, but they really look great. The structure is good because I kept them pruned. And I got to cut my grass, as you can see. Over here, there is the power plant, I call it. That's what feeds a lot of my garden. I use it for potting mix and everything. I do not buy potting mix. Right here, that's some seeds I stuck in there. Little experiment. They watermelons. And then I got some of the yellow melons. I stuck those in there. So they'll be popping out pretty soon. I just put it there because I said the pile's not going to be used this year. So go ahead and grow something in it. And what the heck. These are trees right here. These are apple trees here. Got some weeds around the base of them. I'll clean those up sometime very soon. My largest red raspberry plant is doing real good. And then I got another, let's see what's here. This whole area is covered with what they call these leaves. They were about 3 feet deep starting out in the year, all throughout the yard up in this area. This right here is another type of blackberry. I have roughly about 4 different types of blackberries in this area. Throughout the yard. I'm taking control. This right here is a golden raspberry. It's the only plant I have, but I'm not worried because one thing about raspberries, you can buy one single plant and it'll make enough for later. This right here is a large, very healthy, beautiful looking, healthy cherry plant there. And this right here is another one here. Both of them are Bings, I believe. And it's absolutely incredible. You gotta. I have some control now, and throughout the yard also is vegetables. And we're looking back again at the grapevine, the Thompson that I put in today. And there's the Thompson that was put in last year. All I did with this was stick it in the ground, and it came up on its own. There's one I put in this year. It's going to do okay right now. I mean, it rained really heavily yesterday, so the ground is really saturated, so I didn't even have to water when I put them in. There's an older grapevine that's been cut back, like I said earlier. I'm telling you, folks, I'm happy because my yard looks a little like a jungle. I'm going to figure out a way to manage that, but the food is there. Berries produce quicker than trees do, so but I put the trees in there. I got over 30 trees in this yard. Everything from apples to pears, peaches, plums, you name it. I don't have figs because I don't like figs, but figs are good too if you like figs. Look at these grapes right here. On one single pole, that's what it's on, that grapevine. No one else but one other guy is doing it on the internet like I'm doing it. And I got the idea from him. Now that tree is beautiful. I love looking at this tree here. That is a Duchess pear tree. I love this tree. When I got it, it was 18 inches tall. Now it's about six feet, something like that. And all this area here is all compost materials. That's all that's wood chips all through this area. And there again, we show my little snake buddy. And there we go. He keeps the birds away. What is this? This right here. Oh yeah, That's a raspberry. Blackberries. It's berries all over this plant here. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of blackberries this year, and I deserve it because I put a lot of work in on this garden initially, and now the garden is pretty much running itself. So when I pull all these weeds back from around these plants, and maybe you might want to do the same thing, I gather them all up and I put them down at the base of the plants. So when they decay, they feed my garden, whether it be trees, whether it be my bushes. That's what I do with my weeds. Weeds are very good source of food because they are experts, or they are great at extracting nutrients from the soil. And so why not use that for your plants instead of running out, buying something in a container and putting it down there. You don't know what it is, you don't know how it's going to react to it, whatever. So that's what I do. And look how healthy everything I have is growing, and I'm using this practice, which is feeding my plants and my trees and my bushes weeds. I'm growing garlic, I'm growing potatoes, I'm growing spinach, I'm growing, did I mention tomatoes? Yeah, tomatoes. All different type of beans. I got all kind of beans growing. I got all kind of herbs growing. And I got blueberries. You name it. This backyard orchard was an investment. I think altogether I spent, to get everything started, I want to say about maybe $400, $450, something like that. Maybe, yeah, about $450, and I got everything in sunny locations. I'm eating out of the garden now, actually, but it's not much. It's a salad here or some onions there, or But once the weather starts to start to get fixed where it's going to be warm, because Maryland right now weather's flipping between hot and cold and hot and cold. It is still doing it, and we're actually in the month of June, and it's still doing it. So something is very weird about the weather this year. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. And also, another one I put in the ground was okra. I love okra. All right, so there we go. Showing the tomatoes again, because that is going to be a very dominating plant. And I'm gonna tell you something else I use. Compost tea is very important to use in the garden. I use worm tea. I actually introduced the red wiggler to my yard about 2 years ago. And I'm gonna tell you something about it. I bought 2 dozen red wigglers. They took over my whole yard. They're everywhere, and that's a good thing. Every time I put a shovel in the ground and pop out a plug of soil, there's at least 8 or 10 worms in there. They're all through these wood chips, everywhere. So I created an environment so that they can eat and have a home, and they can thrive. Like this here. This is nothing but food. You should have saw the leaves when I first put them in here. There was close to 1,000 pounds of stuff that the tree people, and also the people from look at all these yellow melons. I'm not following the rules anymore. I do what I want to do, and I learn, and I make sure. Feed your plants. Make sure they get what they want to eat. Make sure they have water. I built a water storage system. That's doing really good. But I want to expand it. Right now, I can store 100 gallons of water. And that's fine for right now. But if I get a couple more of those 55-gallon drums, I will store more water, because that's how you want to do it. All right, and that's it. The Morning Gardener here, and I want to just thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and I want you to subscribe to me and also leave some comments. I appreciate it very much. Have a good day from the Morning Gardener.
It's the Morning Gardener Show. It's the Morning Gardener Show. It's the Morning Gardener Show.